Hello, boys and girls. Good morning. It is so good to be here with you. You know, this morning we're going to start off our time again with our prayers. But before we do, I want you to remember something. Today is Father's Day. So make sure you go and tell your daddy, Happy Father's Day. Or maybe your grandpa or whoever you know, you can tell them Happy Father's Day, okay? That's our little secret, me and you, okay? All right, let's get started. And the first thing we always do is we say our prayers. And we have 4 prayers right here that we can say. So grab your little stuffed animal. I hope you have it there with you. If not, I'm going to give you until I count to 5 to run and get your little bear and meet me back here so we can pray to God together. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Welcome back. Now, hold your bear very close, and today, let's do our confession prayers. The prayers that say, I'm sorry, God, for something that I've done, okay? I'm going to start, and then you finish. Let's pray. Bow your heads and close your eyes. Dear God, we love you so much, and we thank you for this day. And Lord, I am sorry for my bad attitude. Amen. Isn't it wonderful to be able to talk to God? And you know, something else we do when we come together is I have 4 questions for you. So let's see if you can remember the answers, okay? Our first question is, what word means that God is in control of everything? It's a big word, not one that we use very often. That's right, the word is sovereign. Our second question is, what is the bad news we learn from the Bible? That's right, that we all sin. We all have sinned. And that means you, and that means me. But the third question asks, what is the good news that we hear in the Bible? That's right, that Jesus saves sinners. And our fourth question is, what word means that God cannot sin and that he hates sin? That's right, boys and girls. That word is holy. Well, let's start off today remembering about who we learned about last week. We learned last week about a man named Abram. And remember, Abram was asked to leave his father's house and his family and move to a different land. Now, this would have been a long journey, but Abram trusted God and he left his home not knowing where God was telling him to go. Who else went with Abram? Do you remember? That's right. It was Sarah, his wife, and Lot, his nephew, and his servants, and all of their animals. He traveled with all of them. And God gave Abram some great promises. But even though Abram didn't get to see all of these promises answered or come true, he still trusted God to keep every one of them. Abram had faith in God. Boys and girls, that means that Abram trusted God to do what God said he was going to do. Now, to start off our lesson today, I want to show you something. I have 2 presents here. Aren't they fun, boys and girls? It's fun to get presents, isn't it? Well, let's take a look at these. And if you could choose one of these presents, which one would you choose? What do you think I should pick, boys and girls? You know what? I think I want this one. This one's really shiny and pretty, and it's got pink on it. It's got this bow and all this. This is kind of plain. It doesn't look as nice as the other one, does it? Let's see what's inside. Pretty bows, pretty pink paper. What is in here? very special, is it? It's not special at all. This wasn't a very good gift, is it at all? Because what am I going to do with dog food? I can't eat it, and I sure don't want to smell it. Well, let's take a look in the next present and see if it might be better. Let's see. I don't know how it could be very special, though. It's just in a plain bag. Oh, boys and girls, it's candy, and it's a big bag of candy. That's very special, isn't it? You know what I think? I think just because something looks good on the outside, it doesn't mean that it really is the better gift. If we just think about how good something may seem to be, we might end up making choices that are bad choices if we're not careful, right? And in our lesson today, we're going to see how a bad choice, because of how something looked on the outside, really wasn't the best choice when he got on the inside of what was going on. So let's find out what happened, okay? Let me get my presents away over here, and then I'm going to look at our book here, and let's see who we're going to be talking about, okay? In Genesis chapter 13, Genesis is the first book in our Bible, and chapter 13, when we go to that chapter, starting in verse 5 and 6, let's see what it says, okay? Okay. Let's see. Lot also, who went with Abram, had flocks and herds and tents. Now the land was not able to support them, that they might dwell together, for their possessions were so great that they could not dwell together. Okay? So when we take a look at that verse, we find out what? What did both Abram and Lot own? That's right. They owned lots of flocks of sheep and herds of goats. They owned a whole lot together, right? And what did it say in verse 6 that they could not do? Let me read it again to you. It said, now the land was not able to support them, that they might dwell together, for their possessions were so great that they could not dwell together. So that's right. Abram and Lot both had a lot of things. And when there are a lot of things, like lots of sheep and lots of goats, and boys and girls, what do sheep and goats eat? Do you know? That's right, they eat grass, don't they? And they eat lots of grass, and they want lots of grass every day. So it says they could not dwell together because there just wasn't enough grass where they were for these sheep and goats to be able to eat what they needed to eat. And eventually, they were going to eat all the grass up and not have anything left. And you know what started happening because of this? After a while, all the good grass was eaten, and there wasn't enough water for all the animals there to drink. And pretty soon, Abram's servants started fighting with Lot's servants. Oh no, how are they going to solve such a big problem? What should they do? Do you have any ideas? Abram didn't want to have all this fighting going on between his servants and Lot's servants because, you know, they were family and he wanted everybody to get along. So Abram came up with a good idea. He decided that they should spread apart and separate, okay? And just separate from each other. So Abram decided to let Lot choose where he wanted to live. Abram told Lot that if he went to the right, if Lot went to the right, then Abram would go to the left. And then he told him, but if Abram, you choose to go left, I'll go to the right, okay? And that way they would all have enough food and water for their animals, and then the fighting would stop. So Lot took a look around, and he started looking all over. And if you see in our picture here, boys and girls, he looked over here and look at all this grass down here. It's really green and it's really pretty, isn't it? So Lot decided that the way he wanted to go looked so pretty and he was going to go there. And it was kind of like choosing a present that was very nicely wrapped and all pretty with bows and sparkles. But wait, what was inside my present when I opened it up? Was it really the best gift? It wasn't, was it, boys and girls? So let's talk about the place where Abram and Lot chose to live. Abram chose to live in the land of Canaan because that is where God told him to live, okay? And that was the land that God had promised to Abram. Abram worshiped and trusted God, and so he stayed there. Now, how did Lot decide to live where he was going to live? What made him choose this land down here? Do you remember? That's right. Lot chose this land because it looked beautiful, and it looked like it had lots of nice green grass. But you know what? There was one problem with this land down here. It was next to a city called Sodom, and Sodom was not a nice place, boys and girls. You would not want to live by Sodom. The people there, they were wicked and mean, and they went against God, and they were great sinners against God. Uh-oh. Do you think that turned out to be the best place for Lot to go? Oh, no. Let's see. Remember the gifts that we opened up earlier? Did the prettiest gift have the best thing inside? No, it didn't, did it? It had the dog food, and that really wasn't my favorite gift at all, was it? And it looked pretty on the outside, and it looked like it was going to be fun to open up and see what was inside, but it really wasn't, okay? So let's keep going and find out what happened after Lot chose the best looking land. Lot moved his family down to this beautiful green grassy area, okay? And while he was there, a big battle started. And there were 4 kings who won the fight. So they went to this city and they stole all kinds of things there, and they captured all the people. And the people that he captured was also Lot and his family. This is terrible. Poor Lot. Now he's been captured by the enemy. But guess what? Abram came to the rescue. When Abram heard what had happened to his nephew, and that his nephew was captured, he had 318 servants who had been trained to fight, okay? They went at night and they attacked the 4 kings, and they rescued Lot and his family and the people that were captured there and brought them back to safety. Isn't that wonderful, boys and girls? Even though Lot had chosen the thing that may look beautiful, but it really wasn't, and he was captured, God used Abram to come to the rescue of Lot. And Lot made a bad choice to move to what looked like the best land, but God used Abram to come and rescue him and save him. Lot didn't take time to think about what would be best for his family at all. Instead, he chose to move to a land that was near a wicked city, okay, because it looked good. But then that led to some terrible trouble, didn't it? That led to him being captured and his family being captured. But Abram, who made the good choice, he believed that God is faithful and always keeps his promises. So he didn't need to try and get what seemed to be like the best land for himself. Abram trusted God to give him all that he needed. He didn't have to choose that best land. He knew that God was going to do what he said he would do, and he would give him what he needed. Now, we all make choices every day, don't we, boys and girls? And sometimes they're great big choices, and sometimes they're just little bitty choices or decisions that we need to make. But whatever we have to choose, we need to trust God to help us to make the right choice. Just because it may look very pretty on the inside, it doesn't mean it's the best choice for us. On the outside, it doesn't mean it's the best choice for us on the inside. Because really, boys and girls, what am I going to do with dog food? I don't eat this stuff, do you? So remember to trust God that he's going to take care of you and he's going to give you what you need, just like Abram did. And Abram made the right choice, because just because sometimes we think things look the nicest or seem the best. They may not be. And so we need to trust God to give us what we need and what's the very best for us, because He loves you very much, boys and girls, and He wants to do that for you. So just trust in Him and believe that God is going to do what He says He will do. I love you so much, boys and girls, and I hope you have a great day. Now go and give Daddy a great big hug, and I'll see you next time. Bye.